I'm certainly pleased that you decided to join me today for You Create Yours Quick class. This is the first in a series of short lessons where we're going to explore Microsoft Excel. We're going to start, in the beginning with the basics. And with each successive lesson, we're going to look at more advanced topics that will kick our productivity to the next level. In no time at all, your friends are going to be calling you for the most up-to-date tips and tricks to get the most out of Microsoft Excel. Let's begin by reviewing today's learning objectives so that we know what we will have accomplished by the time we end today's lesson. When we complete today, you will be able to explain the program's layout. You will have developed an understanding of how sheets and workbooks are organized. And most importantly, you're going to know how to enter and edit your data. And should the need arise, you'll also know how to move your data around, do things such as insert columns and rows. We're going to take a look at how to access the right-click menu and some of the options available to us through that menu. And we'll close out today's lesson looking at how to utilize the autofill handle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the layout of Microsoft Excel. When we look at the top of the interface here, we'll notice that we have different options: Home, Insert, Draw, and so on. Each of these areas are what we call tabs. Notice when I click on each of these tabs, different options appear below in what we refer to as the ribbon. As we look across the ribbon, we'll notice that the ribbon is organized into groups. So for example, here we have Page Setup, Scale to Fit. If I click back over here on the Home tab and look at the groups within the ribbon, we'll see groups such as Font, Alignment. One thing that you may notice as we look at these groups organized onto the ribbon is that in some cases we have a little call-out button here. This call-out button signifies that we have additional settings and options available within this group. By clicking on that, it opens up additional options that we have within each of these groups. As we look below the ribbon and groups, we see what was referred to as the formula bar. And below the formula bar, we see a series of cells composed of columns and rows. And you can notice here, when I click, I see A1. This is what we refer to as a cell. Collectively, all of these cells, arranged by columns and rows, are referred to as the sheet. If you take a look down here at the bottom, you will see that this is referred to in the beginning as Sheet 1. Now perhaps we may want to give names to the sheets. So if I would like to give a name to this sheet, I can double click that and notice it becomes highlighted. Once it's highlighted, you can type any name that you like. As you continue to work with the program, you may find yourself in a situation where you require more than one sheet. It's very easy to add an additional sheet. Should you need an additional sheet, notice here the little plus sign. You click on the plus sign and voila, you have a new sheet. You can add several sheets, and it's very unlikely that any of us are going to exceed the number of sheets available to us. Again, in each case, should I want to name this sheet, double click, it's highlighted, and then I can give it a name. Let's review. A sheet is composed of cells. Here's a cell, cell A1. Here's cell A2, B1, so on and so forth. Cells are arranged in columns and rows. Collectively, all of your sheets are referred to as the workbook. Now that we understand the layout of a worksheet, let's move into the reason we're really here. Let's practice entering data. To enter data, it's really quite simple. Take your mouse, click on a cell. Here I'll click on cell C2. Once I've entered that cell, I can simply enter any numbers or letters that are relevant. All right, you may have noticed a couple of interesting things. After I entered letters, I moved over to the right. But then after I entered my number, the cursor went down. When you click on a cell and you enter some type of data and you hit enter, enter will move you down to the cell below. If you would like to move up, you can hold shift and then hit enter and it'll move you up. Hit enter again and it moves you down. You can also use the arrow keys to move up and down, left and right. Another way to move right after I've entered 34, if I want to enter something in the next column, the way I got to that next column was pressing the tab button. When you press tab, it's going to move you to the right. If you would like a shortcut to move to the left, similar to what we did with enter, hold the shift key and tab and it moves you to the left. Enter moves you down. Shift enter moves you up. Tab moves you right. Shift tab moves you left. Remember, you can always use your mouse to click to the space you would like to be in. And additionally, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard. Let's get a little more serious with our data entry. So I'm going to move over here to a new sheet, sheet 3. Do you remember how to name a sheet? If you said double click, good for you. You know, it's close to Christmas time and we began buying gifts for everyone. You know what? I think it would be good if I used Excel to keep track of the gifts we have bought, who we have bought the gifts for, and how much money we've spent so we can try to keep on budget. So I'll go ahead and name this sheet Gifts. And I'll come up here and I'm just going to click a spot. B3 will be fine. And I'm going to give some titles for the things that I think I want to keep track of. Date. The gift. The person we're giving it to. And well, let's go ahead and track the price. There's just so many people to buy for. Let's keep track of this. All right, so we've already gone out. Let's log our first purchase. And we got a gift, a Nerf ball for Kevin, and we paid $19.91 for it. I hit enter. All right, now we've also made another purchase. On the 5th, we were out. And we purchased a good old Rubik's Cube. Well, Kevin must have been a good boy this year because we bought this for Kevin as well. And it cost us $17.26. So wow, isn't that exciting? 2 gifts. I've entered the relevant information. I'm going to stay on budget this Christmas. Uh-oh. I see I made a little bit of an error here. I accidentally hit enter twice, it looks like. So I need to go ahead and move my data because I want it to be contiguous with the data above. There's a few different options for moving data that you've entered. One of the things I can do is I can come in here and click, hold, and drag. Notice how it's highlighted everything there. Once I've highlighted it, I let go of the left mouse button. Notice how my cursor changes. I can click, hold, and move it to the spot that I want. Another way that I can do it, I'm going to go ahead and put it back where it was before, is since there's no other data anywhere around and I've skipped a row, what I can do is I can come over here and click on row 5. Notice it highlights the entire row. And here is where we're going to take a look at the right-click menu. So I click the right mouse button, and notice it opens up a menu of various options. The option that's pertinent to me right now is the delete button. Click delete, and there we go. I've fixed my error. One other option that comes to mind, if I need to move this data, I can left click, hold, highlight all of the data I want to move. I can left click, cut, come here to where I want it, left click, paste. Believe it or not, there's a number of other options that we could employ, but for now, we have a few different options as to how we can move data should we put it in the wrong place or decide we want to rearrange it for any type of reason. So, let's take a look here. We've got Kevin 2 gifts. Whoa, wait a second here. Certainly we didn't spend $200 on a Nerf ball. Looks like I have another edit to do. Let me check the receipt. I'll be back. Huh. Wow. Okay. Much more reasonable. $18.91 is what we spent for the Nerf ball. How do I edit it? Well, pretty easy to do. Click on this, and anything, when I single click on the cell that I enter, will overwrite what I've had there before. So if I enter $18.91, it replaces what was there before. Now I'm going to go back to the original $200. Another option we have is we can double click. And notice when I double click, the blinking cursor appears within the cell. Then once we're in the cell, we can edit directly in the cell. $18.91 and hit enter. Certainly a better and more appropriate price for a Nerf ball. Let's take another way to do this. Another option we have for entering data is I can do a single click here, and I can come up here to the formula bar, position my cursor. In this case, I'm going to highlight the text, and I'm going to enter the correct value, $18.91. Well, now that we have removed the row between our lines and we have a contiguous list of purchases, it occurs to me that there's one other column I would like to have. Especially as our gifts get more and more numerous, I'll probably want to know where we purchased each of those gifts. Now, of course, we know we can highlight and move our data, but in this instance, I want to show you another way to do that. I already alluded that I want to add a column. So what I can do is I can come here and I can click on the D column. I can right-click to access the right-click menu, and then look here, Insert. Click Insert, and there we go. We have a new column, which I'm going to call Stores. Where did I buy the Nerf ball? Bought that at Ross. Where did I buy the Rubik's Cube? Amazon.com. In the same fashion that you added a column, you can also add a row. Let's say I made a purchase on the 3rd of September and I want to put it in chronological order. In order to do that, I can insert a row by coming over here and clicking on the row, in this case row 5. I can right-click to access the right-click menu, click Insert, and there we go. I can come in here and enter the purchase I made on the 3rd, and it'll be in order. While I'm thinking about this, I really think we should set a limit on the number of gifts. You know, something like maybe no more than 30 gifts. Could we set that? Well, we can. I'm going to come over here and create a new column. Call it number of gifts. I'm going to start with 1, hit enter. Now this is where we're going to look at the autofill handle. I'm going to click here on 1, move my cursor over to the lower right hand corner, and notice how the cursor changes. When it changes here, I'm going to click, left click, hold, and drag. Notice what it does. It has copied the number that I put there. Well, that doesn't really help me because I don't really want to count a bunch of ones up to 30, that'd be the same as counting the number of empty boxes. But let's look at another option here. Let's click, mouse over till our cursor changes, and now I'm going to hit the control button. Notice when I hold the control button, a little plus appears up in the right-hand corner. So I'm going to click, hit control, and I'm going to drag. Notice what happens as I hold control and drag. Excel is counting for me. So I can drag this out. What did I say? 30? Let go. And voila. There's our 30 spaces. There are a number of other features and ways we can use the autofill function, but we will cover that in a future edition. Great work today. I want to let you know I'm super proud of you. I think we've gotten off to a great start in our introduction to Excel. Let's go ahead and take a few minutes to review what we have learned. Are you able to identify the highlighted area? If you said the tabs, pat yourself on the back. That's right, that's the tabs. Can you identify this area? The ribbon. Great job. And remember, the ribbon is organized into groups, and in some aspects, the groups have call-out buttons that will allow you to find additional options. Did you say a cell? If you did, you're right on track. Can you identify this? If you said column, hip hip hooray. And what about this? Congratulations, you got it right. That is indeed a row. All right, let's get a little more complex in our questions now. Can you explain to me how you enter data into an empty cell? If you said, click on the cell, type the numbers and or text, hit enter and the cursor moves down, hit tab and the cursor moves right, you're right on track. Remember, we also covered some shortcut keys. If you hold shift and hit enter, the cursor moves up. If you hit tab while holding shift, the cursor moves left. Let's try another question. Can you explain to me how you edit data in a cell? And I'm talking about a cell that already has data. You're right. There's a couple different options that we discussed. You can utilize a double-click option that puts your cursor right in the cell and allows you to make edits right in that cell. And you can hit enter or tab when complete. Or you can click on the cell once and utilize the formula bar to make the edit and enter the tab when complete. If you enjoyed today's quick class, we invite you, go ahead and click that like button and subscribe to our channels to stay up to date with our future content. Additionally, we would love if you visited our webpage at youcreateyours.com to see what other resources and information we have available. Go ahead, give us a shout out on our social media platforms. We look forward to interacting with you. Again, I want to thank you for joining our quick class. Have a great week. Keep learning, and remember, luck is simply preparation meeting opportunity.